Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to create my Craze Maze bracelet. This is like a mashup of my CC, Swirly Tail, and Circle of Waves bracelets. So it reminds me of all three of them, to be honest. So we are doing a full wraparound bracelet today, but I just want to show you really quickly. This is how it looks when it comes off of the loom, specifically the green bands, how they kind of face outwards. If you want it to sit more inwards like a straight line, it's super easy to do. I can show you at the end of the video how to get that look, but I prefer the way that it looks when it comes right off. So if you're doing the full wraparound bracelet, you need 168 bands total. The breakdown is 29 gray, 26 of the side white, 24 of the middle white, 23 of the green, 46 of the fuchsia, and 23 of the turquoise. I will have the breakdown down below for one loom length, but you will also need your hook and one C-clip, and I will explain the loom setup. To get started, you will need to have at least one rainbow loom, and if you do use the one loom, you'll need to add an extension at the end, which I'll have a video down in my description box if you don't know how to do that. If you want a full-length bracelet, you're going to use two looms, one connected in front of the other with the long blue bases, and I do have a video also showing you how to do that down below. So I am going to be doing this exact color combination today, and we're going to start by grabbing the gray, and we're going to lay one on the center pin, and also guys, make sure that you have your loom set up in a normal staggered position, by the way. So we're going to lay that gray one there for closing it later, and then we'll go to the left and to the right. We're going to also now grab our second color, and that's going to be the white on the side here. We're going to be alternating between that white and the gray up the sides, but we will not have the same color side by side, and I'll show you what I mean. So on the right side, I'm going to lay my white. On the left side, I'm going to lay my gray. And now we're going to alternate. If it's easier for you to just go white, gray, all the way down the right side, and then on the left, do your gray, white, and alternate that way, so you don't get confused, you can certainly do that. But this part is super easy. We're just going to alternate two colors all the way down the loom. Also, we are going to go down to the 23rd pin. If you start counting from this first one here, lay 23. I don't go all the way down. Technically, we could lay 24, but for those of you who are only making one loom length, I want it to stop one short so that our looms look identical when it comes to the looping. So keep alternating your colors until you have 23 of them laid, and then we will do the left side. So there, my right side is completed. You can see I have two empty pins on the right bar pin, and that's how it should be. We're not going to bring anything into the center right now. We're just going to go ahead and do the same thing on the left side. Remember, we started with gray on the left, so now I'm going to go to my white and then gray, and then we'll do the same thing like the other side and keep alternating the colors until we meet the other side down at the end. Okay, so I've reached the end of mine on the left side. You can see I have gray and white. Make sure that they are not the same color side by side, or else you might have messed up somewhere. So we're not going to actually bring it into the center right now. We'll do that after we do the center. I do recommend pushing these down a little bit to make the next step easier. So we're going to be now alternating two colors as we go down the middle bar pin, and that is going to be my white, which is what I'm going to lay first, and that will go straight on the pin, and then my green, which is going to be diagonal. So I'm going to take a second and push these down. Okay, so I'm going to get my white, and I'm going to lay that going straight, and then I'm going to grab my second color, and from that same center pin, well, where the white one ended, we're going to lay a diagonal band going backwards like that. And then we're going to lay a white straight one again, grab your second color, and this time, instead of going diagonal left, we're going to go diagonal right. But remember, we need to go diagonal downwards, not upwards. So make sure you're pulling it like back towards yourself. Then we'll go back to white, going straight. And now this time I'm grabbing my green and going diagonal left. And we're going to keep alternating which direction we lay it on. So left, left, lay your white, grab your green, and diagonal right. White going straight, green diagonal left. And we're just going to keep doing this. Take your time. It's really easy to fix if you do end up laying it, like if you end up doing 2 on the right after you lay them all and you notice that. It is really easy to just go in and fix it. Like if I accidentally laid it like that, just grab it with your hook and bring it to the side it's supposed to be on. But then you will have to go down the rest of the loom and fix the rest, because chances are the rest will be messed up as well. But hopefully if you take your time, you won't have to worry about that. So keep doing that down the loom, and I will show you where to stop when I get a little closer down. Alrighty, so when you get to the end of the loom, you should have 1 empty pin on the center if you're using 2 looms. So you can see my white stop there. Your last diagonal green should be on the left side. We're not going to lay anything right here because that's going to be the color of our closing bands. If you used 1 loom, you will be at the very end of your loom, but our looms should look identical. So you would look like that if you're just using 1 loom. So we are going to grab whatever color you started your bracelet with, which is gray for me, so right here, and we are going to close it off, meaning we're going to lay a diagonal band from the left to connect it to the middle, and then from the right. Make sure you do lay the left side first. It's important for looping. So once you do that, go through and push your green bands and like the center bands down a little bit, because we're going to do a little bit of looping before we lay any more bands. So I did jump off and pushed mine down some, but what we're going to be doing is looping the green bands, and we're just going to be looping them all back to themselves. So we're going to make sure you turn your loom around if you didn't already, and we're going to come up to this second pin where that first diagonal green is, and you can see it. It's literally sitting right here inside this pin. You're going to grab your green, and you're just going to carefully take it off of the pin and loop it to itself. There's not a whole lot holding that green band in. It's only that white band that it's sitting under, so you do want to kind of be careful that you don't pop that off. So come up to the next center pin. You're going to grab the top green that's inside of there and loop it to itself, which this one will go left. And just the same way they were laid, we're going to be alternating, obviously, which side we loop it to. You can see that this one is coming from the right, so we're going to loop it to the right. Then come up to the next middle one, and this one is coming from the left, so I'm going to loop that to the left. And we're just going to do this back and forth all the way up. This part it's pretty straightforward if you ask me. So that is what it looks like. As you can see, the last one goes to the right. We are now going to turn our loom back around, and we are going to lay some more band. So now we are going to be grabbing the fuchsia, and we're going to be laying a bunch of zigzags. So we're going to start on whatever side your last green is on, which if you followed me, it should be right here on the left. And we're going to start laying going diagonal to the right, like that. So you do it 2 times. And you may want to go through and push these greens down just to make laying these fuchsia bands a little easier. Okay, so after you lay it twice going to the right, from the pin where it ended, you're now going to go to the left diagonal. And then from there, we'll go back to the right 2 times. And you can see that all of my zigzags are meeting up with my green bands. That's very important. If for some reason you're ending up on a pin that doesn't have your green bands, then you started laying the zigzag incorrectly. And we're going to zigzag all the ling long day all the way down. I said ling long and said, isn't it live long? All the live long day, yeah. I don't know where I got ling long. When I get towards the end, I will show you where we stop. Alrighty, so when you get down to the end of the loom, your last zigzag will be facing the direction to the right, ending on the corner where your bracelet ends down at the end. So make sure ours look the same. And now, once again, push them down a little bit because we have some more looping to do. And then once you do push them down a little bit, you're going to turn your loom around so that the openings are facing you again. And we are going to need to grab one more of our gray color, or whatever color you used right here. And we're going to place a cap band on the center so that we can loop up these zigzags. Alrighty, so we are going to start by going into this cap band right here. And we're going to grab the top band, which should be coming from the left. Grab the gray and bring it to the left. We're not going to do anything with this side. We need to leave that like that. And then we're going to go into this pin and loop the fuchsia. So we're strictly going to be looping up the zigzag bands that we just laid. So reach into your gray band, grab your diagonal fuchsia, bring it back to itself, which is into the middle. Go into that pin and grab the fuchsia again and bring that to the right. Now we will go into that corner pin or side pin. Reach in, grab your fuchsia and bring it to the middle. Go in again, grab the fuchsia and bring it to the left. And we're just going to follow the fuchsia bands all the way up. Going right to left. The same way that we laid them, we're just going to now loop them the opposite direction. It definitely helps to get them pushed down, like the underlayer bands pushed down, so you're not grabbing them by accident like I just did. I have a really bad headache, so I have a headache ice pack, like eye mask thingy on my head. And it's dripping because I guess it's thawing. And I'm like, why? I keep seeing like droplets hitting my phone. I'm like, what is that? And it's obviously it's my eye mask melting. So I'm going to have to take it off before I ruin my phone. So go ahead and keep getting all your zigzags done until you reach the top, and I'll come back and show you mine when it's finished. Okay, so hit the pause button until you reach the top where I am. Once we're caught up, you can see how the zigzag ends to the right at the top. This is what it looks like, just to show you a quick little preview. Since we are at the top of our loom, we are going to go ahead and do the next step, and we're just going to work from the top of the loom down. It doesn't matter for this part which order we do it in. We're going to be flipping these green bands, the bottom layer here, over onto the fuchsia. So I've just been doing it from the top since we're already up here. So we'll start on this top right corner one. You're going to grab the third and fourth band down, which will be both of these greens right here. And you're just going to plop them up and over and let them go. And then we're going to come to the left side. Again, if you just go down one side and then do the other, it doesn't matter. I just kind of go back and forth on my way down the loom. So I'm going to now do this one over here. We're going to grab the third and fourth band down, which is these green ones, and flip them up and over. Come to the right. It's easy to know where to go because it's the points where the zigzag meets. And my green's pretty bright. You can't really miss it. But we're just going to keep flipping these over on each side. Very easy this part is. After we do this, we will have some more bands to lay. Actually, just one more set. Okay, so I finally reached the end of my loom. All of my greens are flipped up and over. You might want to just do a double check to make sure you didn't miss any. And then now we're going to turn our loom back around so that the openings are facing away from us. Push these down a little bit, and we are going to lay our last set of bands. So that is going to be the turquoise on this bracelet here. And what we're going to be doing is laying long, stretched, diagonal bands, kind of like we did the fuchsia, except it's one long one and not two of them. And we also have to go around the back of this middle pin, which is the trickiest part. So we're going to be filling in all of these open pins. So from this corner one, we're going to go around the middle and connect it to the left, like this. So again, make sure you do go around that center one. Sorry, somebody just flushed the toilet. It's super loud. And then, so from that pin, we're going to skip the middle and connect it to the right. So starting from where the last one ended, go around that center and connect it to the right. We're going to start where the last one ended. And we're going to go around the middle and to the left. If this is too difficult for you for whatever reason, you can go ahead and just lay it diagonal straight like that, and then use your hook to just pull it behind it. You can do it that way too. Just make sure you don't forget to actually do that because it will affect how the bracelet looks. But we need to lay these long stretched diagonal bands all the way down the loom, just like we did the fuchsia. Alrighty, so hit the pause button until you're caught up with me. This is what it looks like. So what we're going to do now, and just make sure your last one is going in the direction to the left to make sure that you didn't mess anything up along the way. But now we're going to turn our loom around and do some looping. We are officially done laying bands. So what we're going to be doing is working with the center row. Now we do have to come down to the center pin and loop this gray one to the right. So go into your cap band and loop the top band to the right, just to get that out of the way. And now we're going to work strictly with the center. So we're going to go in the cap band, grab the only band that's in there, which is the white, and that's going to go straight. This next part might be a little tricky, specifically this first one. But we need to grab the second band down on the center pin, which is the top fuchsia band right there. So I come from the left and I try to get into that little opening right there. I'm only grabbing the top fuchsia band. You don't want to grab two, just one. And you're going to pull it over the white band and the pin and let it go. After you do that, we're going to go into that same pin. So make sure you're pushing back the fuchsia band, grabbing the very bottom band that's on that pin, which is my white, and looping it straight. And we have to do that same step again, except this time we have to grab from the right. You can see that it would be really difficult to try to grab it from the left. There's a lot going on. You can see how open it is over here? You always want to be grabbing from the opposite side that the turquoise is on. So on this pin, the turquoise was back here. So I went on this side over to the left to grab the fuchsia to flip it. This time, the turquoise is up here, so I want to be on this side to grab it. I don't know if that makes more sense just in my head or if I'm confusing you guys, so I'm just going to grab the top fuchsia band here, and we're going to flip it over the pin, like so. We're going to go back into that same pin and loop the bottom band forward. This time we're going to go to the left of the pin and we're going to grab the top fuchsia band and flip it over. Loop the bottom white forward. This time we're going to come to the right of the pin and grab the top fuchsia band. As you get going, you might find it easier to just go into this little opening and grab it that way. We all have things that work better for us. It just depends on what works better for you. I looped my white up and now I'm going to grab from the left, grabbing my top fuchsia and flipping it over. And we're going to alternate looping the white and flipping the fuchsia. The main thing you have to pay attention to is what side you're flipping the fuchsia from. So I'm on my right now. And now I will grab my left. Sorry, I don't know if I was in mid-speaking, but my phone just shut off on me. So I just looped the white forward, and I am now grabbing from the right side, grabbing my fuchsia. And we're going to go up the loom, alternating left to right, flipping that fuchsia band. A little trick, if you're having a hard time identifying which side you're supposed to be flipping the fuchsia band, it should always be the opposite of where the two turquoise connect. So this is the pin we're on. You see that my two turquoise are connecting right here. So I don't flip it on that side. It's always the opposite side that those two are connecting. I'm trying to figure out a little trick to help you guys, and I just hope it's not confusing you more than it should be. When you get to the top of your loom, don't forget to loop your last white one straight like I just did here, because you don't want your whole bracelet falling apart after all of that hard work. Once you're caught up, we're going to come back to the beginning and we're going to loop the sides. So it doesn't matter which side you start on, but I'm going to start on the right side. And we're going to push back all of the top band so that we can grab the very bottom and loop that forward. Anytime you get to the bands that are fuchsia, you're going to flip them over. So the bands that have the green flipped up on them, in case you didn't use fuchsia, we're going to grab it and flip it over. And then we will go back in, grab the bottom band and loop that forward. We're going to go in that pin and loop that forward. I am at my fuchsia bands again, so I need to grab that entire chunk of fuchsia bands, it's 2 of them, and flip. And we're going to keep doing that. So loop up the bottom band, loop up the bottom band again. I have reached my fuchsia, so I'm going to grab both of those fuchsia bands and flip. So go ahead and get your right side done, flipping all of your fuchsia bands over when you get there, and I will come back and do the left side with you. So I know I jumped ahead, so when you guys reach the top of your loom, I just want to show you that we do have a fuchsia at the very top corner of the loom. Do not flip that one over. I mean, it won't hurt anything, but I just don't like the way it looks, so don't flip that one over. Leave that on the pin, and then you're going to go into the bottom band and bring it to the center. So now our right side is done. We're going to come back to the beginning, and we are going to do the same thing on the left side. So we are going to go into the corner pin, grab the bottom band, loop it up. Go into that pin, grab the bottom, loop it up. I have reached my first fuchsia. So remember, we're going to grab both fuchsia bands and flip them over. You can grab it from in there, or you can grab it from in the middle like I do. Loop the bottoms up. And this is what I meant. I go right here, grab the fuchsias and flip. So it's the same thing that we did on the right side. I just always like to at least show you or get you started, just in case. You can pull this one up off of the loom. Just be careful, take your time. These bands are not as good quality as they used to be, so I always get nervous pulling it off of the loom. Some of them are still good quality. I take that back, but not all of them, so definitely is hit or miss. When you reach the top of the left side, you're going to reach down and grab the bottom band and bring it to the middle. You're going to locate that loose band, and we're going to bring both ends together. So go in the middle, grab the bottom of that loose band, bring them together, and add your C-clip. And then we are going to carefully take it off of the loom. So when you take it off of the loom, I do like to give it a stretch just from yanking on it, but it comes off of the loom really nicely. There really isn't anything that you have to do, which is really awesome, and I love that. So you would obviously just bring both ends together and C-clip it there, but just really quickly, if any of you want it to get this look where they are more straight, all you need to do is grab your hook. You locate your fuchsia bands where the two bands are on the side, and you just grab them. You want to grab both of them and pull. I do kind of like use my finger to push it in a little bit at the same time, but that's all you do up the bracelet to get them to lay straighter. I'm not going to go through the whole thing and do that because I like this look better. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that in case you wanted to do that. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and set this little guy to the side. But that is how you create my Craze Maze bracelet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope all of you have a really happy Thanksgiving. Eat lots of food, spend time with your family. And I will see you guys really soon at my next video. I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Bye.